I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building.
Did you forget something?
Hello, this is Karen.
And this is Kevin.
And this is Right From Us. Apparently.
To peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Yeah, well, I'm not the only one that doesn't pay attention to the rest of that sentence.
Yeah, this quote was played, partially. It's been played partially just over and over this week. We've got the big fake impeachment thing going on this week.
I don't know. Is anybody even paying attention to this?
I am.
Honestly,
I watched part of it.
I think it's just so laughable. It's such a joke that I'm not even paying attention.
It really is.
I really have no interest because it's not going to happen. They're
really
just going
joke.
through the motions because they just hate Trump so much.
But this quote, I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. They have played that first part, and they always forget to play that peacefully and
don't
patriotically.
Give me that crap. But they didn't forget. They do that on purpose.
Well, I intentionally forget is what I mean.
Well,
but yeah, even in the actual impeachment hearing itself,
I know
they played that quote.
They do that with everything,
and
not just this quote. They do that with
and
patriotically.
Patriotically.
They always just cherry pick what they want. Whatever they cherry pick content out just to further their agenda. Again, it has nothing to do with the context of where they've taken it.
Yeah,
that's just their MO.
President Trump's attorneys in the hearing yesterday were just going over all the deceptive partial quotes and things like that have been played by the Democrats in the hearing.
Yeah, and not only that, but they put together a montage of all the Democrats calling for violence.
Yeah, over and over and over.
Over and over and over again from multiple people. And I really think that might be the key to bringing down. Now, maybe that's the wrong verbiage. Not bringing down, but highlighting the hypocrisy of the left is just to continuously bring it up to people that they're lying through their teeth.
The thing about it is they could make a montage like that, but who's going to play it? Who's going to air it? This montage with all the Democrats saying fight, fight, fight. You got to fight for it.
Get in their face.
Was that played by the regular news media at all? I didn't see it. Of course I don't watch that, but I don't know.
Yeah, and there was another article I linked to about how Pelosi refused to talk about the impeachment at this time. And you know why? Because she knows that everything that she's done has been a big fat lie, and that it's starting to come out that they're so obsessed with bringing Trump down and their hatred of Trump that they can't even function like normal people.
It is definitely the Trump derangement syndrome.
Seriously, I think it's a mental illness. I really do.
I know. It's like you don't really hear that much stuff about Biden at all. They're just still focused on...
They're so hyper-focused on Trump. It's like, okay, let's move on, people. Unfortunately, Biden's our president. This is what we have right now. Let's focus on all the crap that he's been doing and all the executive orders he's been signing and all the good things that he's been undoing for people. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the American people are hurting from this stupid COVID crap.
Yeah, speaking of undoing good things for the people, I mean, not only the Keystone Pipeline permit, which cost, tens of thousands of jobs, those are going to get replaced by green jobs. So
I know. I mean, why are you complaining? Just go learn how to make solar panels.
Yeah, or you can learn how to program a computer.
That's what they're saying, by the way.
But
that's
anyway,
not coming from me. That's coming from them. That's what their rationale.
Yeah, one of the other executive orders that was actually it was one of President Trump's. It was rescinded. Was regarding the insulin, the cost of insulin.
Yeah,
and there's been complaints and lots of stories about people that are on insulin and other drugs like that are now having to pay like $2,000 a month for their insulin, where it was like $60
Think about that. Just think about that for a minute. Some people have to have that to live. They have to have that to live their life. And he's making it so unattainable It's pure evil. Like, what is the objective here? Just to kill
Their-
off these people?
Their only objective is just to stamp out President Trump and whatever President Trump did. It doesn't
And
matter.
they don't care who they
Doesn't matter
step
the damage.
on,
Doesn't
who
matter.
they hurt.
Just like what they're doing in, they also came out this week saying that they're considering a domestic travel ban.
Yeah.
To get back at
Think about
President,
that
but
for a minute.
Governor DeSantis in
A
Florida.
domestic travel ban. That means you cannot travel to a different state without either being COVID tested or showing that you've had the COVID vaccine. Think about that for a minute. How could you logistically carry that off?
How could they pull that off?
You'd have to be tested at every single airport because you're now in an airport in a different state for every layover that you have. Or you're traveling, to your relatives in Kansas, and they're going to stop you at the Missouri border and test you. And then they're going to test you again when you come back home.
Well, they had that over Thanksgiving. People, so apparently when people would go to New York and some of the states up in the Northeast, I think it was Massachusetts, they actually said you had to have on you a negative COVID tests in order to travel to that state. So I guess it'd be something like that.
Well,
we laugh at it and mock at it. It's like that could never happen. But look at all the stuff that's happened over the last year. We never said it could happen.
Oh, I no longer laugh at any of it. Nothing surprises me anymore. I think we have crossed over into the land of insanity months ago.
Yeah.
And it's just getting more and more crazy. But they were talking about doing it specifically to Florida. Did you see that article?
Yeah.
And I think that's primarily because of DeSantis. I think that
Well-
Biden is just trying to shut it down because DeSantis has the balls to stand up and say, I don't care what y'all say. Florida's going to do what we want to do. We're
Well,
fine. Leave us alone.
Just like we were talking about last week, Governor DeSantis came out with some legislation that was against big tech censoring Floridians, basically. And we talked about the fact that he's going to be a target now.
Well,
there you go.
We also talked about the fact that we are hypothesizing that one of the reasons why they're destroying the cruise industry is because of Florida, because a lot of their ports are in Florida.
Yeah, the majority of the cruise line
And they
ports are
get-
in Florida.
Yeah, and they get a lot of
But
tourists.
also Texas. So there you go.
Texas
and-
too.
Yeah.
Well, it's another Republican state. So you do have to kind of wonder, because it just seems so weird that they are just unilaterally destroying the cruise industry.
Well, the travel industry as a whole, for sure. But the cruise industry, it's like
Yeah, but
what
at
they're
least-
doing to the cruise industry, it makes no sense whatsoever what they're doing.
At least you can still get on a plane and go somewhere.
Yeah, you can
You
fly.
can't even get on a cruise ship and go anywhere right now.
Yeah, you're allowed to get on a little tube and sit
This close to a complete stranger.
Yeah, but you cannot go on a cruise.
Right.
That's crazy.
Once
insane.
again, it just highlights how all of these rules and regulations make zero sense. And it just gets more and more ridiculous. For example, did you guys hear the latest from the all-empowering CDC? They're now suggesting that you put pantyhose on under your mask. Or was it over your mask? I don't know. I can't keep track of the insanity. Pantyhose. Pantyhose. Think about that for a minute. How is that going to be effective at all? Didn't
it used to be just bank robbers that would wear pantyhose over their head as a mask? Now they're asking the general public to wear that.
It's almost like they sit around trying to think of the most ridiculous, most stupid rule, and just laughing their full heads off, going, "I wonder if they're going to fall for this one. Let's do it and see what happens." And guess what? We do.
Where did you see that about the pantyhose? Is that actually from the CDC website?
CDC recommends putting pantyhose over your face along with mask.
They actually did come out this week and say they said that they recommend 2 masks. A cloth mask over your, the paper mask,
And then
to
the
seal things in
N95.
better. They're advocating 2 masks. I'm advocating 0 masks. That was my thing this week. I went around,
Which
and
kudos
didn't
to
wear a
you.
mask. And you know what? Not one person said anything to me. I got a few strange looks, like, what's he doing? But then there was a lot of other people without masks too.
For example, we went to Walmart last night. We always do our shopping on Friday nights after we get off work, and I I was too scared to take it off. I'm ashamed to say I was
Really?
too scared to take it off. And I look over and he doesn't have a mask on. I'm like, oh, I'm like one of those people, like, it's just so weird to see someone without a mask. But you know what? I feel like that's what it's going to take to wake people up. Like, okay, well, if you have the courage to do it, I'm going to do it.
We just got to start standing up against this
Yeah,
stuff.
I agree.
They're talking about two masks, and also, Biden said he wanted to wear masks for 100 days. His first 100 days. Now he's saying, well, for the first year, we'll have to wear masks.
Which
they're just going to keep stretching things out.
I
We
know.
have got to start.
We've just got to start putting our foot down and saying enough is enough. We
if
have
you-
a vaccine now.
Yeah, well,
We're on the road to recovery.
if you want to wear a mask and you feel safer,
Feel
that's
free.
great. But making people wear a
But
mask,
mandating something
I'm
that
not doing
doesn't
it.
work.
I'm not doing it
And
anymore.
now they're saying 2 masks, and now they're saying pantyhose. This article is from WND.com. It says CDC recommends putting pantyhose over your face along with mask. No, it's not a joke. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has finally recognized that the masks that they've had everyone wearing for the better part of a year are largely ineffective because aerosols easily go around the top and sides. Their latest recommendation is placing a sleeve made of sheer nylon hosiery material around the neck and pulling it up over either a cloth or medical procedure mask, or using knots and tucking to fit a mask closely to the face. They came up with these techniques to experiments with mannequins in a lab and have not tested them on actual humans. What the actual F?
That's pretty scientific there.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
I mean, is it saying that it's going to? I mean, that's not going to stop any viruses?
They said
because aren't the holes in pantyhose like huge?
They're way larger than you're going to get
So
in
what good is that going to do?
They
Except
have-
for, I guess, it would keep the mask toward your face. Is that what they're wanting?
They have no empirical data, and the study even warns the findings of these simulations should neither be generalized to the effectiveness of all medical procedure masks or cloth masks, nor interpreted as being representative of the effectiveness of these masks when worn in real-world settings. In other words,
There's no
we
science.
don't know what we're talking about. We're suggesting it
throwing-
because it just sounds stupid, and
we're
we
just-
thought we'd do it.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get them to do that. We've got them wear a mask. Let's see if we can make them wear pantyhose.
I swear to God, it's like we are puppets now. The American people have just become puppets and playthings for the insanity, for
Yeah.
these people that are in control.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
not wearing a mask
unbelievable.
anymore. I'm not doing it.
Well, I'm
Except
certainly
for
not gonna do that.
There is one thrift store that I go to. That it's actually a chain of thrift stores, and they are like mask Nazis.
Yeah, but
if you have your mask like down to
Are
your
you
nose,
serious?
they come by and say you got to put your mask
Are
up.
you serious?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Well, but to be completely fair to them, they don't want to get shut down.
Yeah.
That's really probably the only reason they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to lose their business license or get penalized or whatever. So I get it, but I think you're right. And kudos to you for having the balls to do that last night. And I need to start putting my money where my mouth is and just start doing it.
Actually, as an experiment, I tried it almost every place I went this week,
Really?
not wearing masks, and nobody said anything to me.
So you didn't have a Karen come up to you
No,
and say,
and
"Hey,
actually-
put your mask on."
Actually, it seemed like when I would go check out someplace, or if I was at a store, it seemed like the cashiers were friendlier to me.
Yeah.
'Cause
Can
it's
you
like-
imagine those poor cashiers having
Yeah.
to wear a mask all day, every day? That
Yeah,
would
'cause
suck.
They're like, yeah, all right, finally, someone's standing
Finally.
up for this.
Well, but I think you're right. I think it's just going to take some people to put their foot down and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I think that'll give people more courage to do the same.
Okay, here's a quote for you.
Okay.
Let's see if you can guess who said this.
Okay.
Our election was hijacked. There's no question. Congress has a duty to protect our democracy and follow the facts.
I don't know. Ted Cruz? Josh Hawley? Trump?
Nancy Pelosi.
Wait, read that again.
Our election was hijacked. There's no question. Congress has a duty to protect our democracy and follow the facts.
That had to have been in the 2016 election.
That was in May of 2017. Nancy Pelosi said that about
Right.
the election.
See, this is what I'm talking about. They're
And
such hypocrites.
The thing about that's a quote that was on Twitter, and it's still on Twitter. She hasn't been canceled.
I can't even believe people are still on those platforms. If you are, I would strongly encourage you to get off of them because they're evil. They're evil people that just they want one truth, their truth. That's it.
I never did really understand Twitter. I don't.
Twitter's stupid. I don't even
really
know why I even did it.
Like to have a conversation.
But
I don't like to really put my statements
Yeah.
out there that much anyway. So
Well, I don't really know what the objective is. I mean, people are either going to agree or disagree. It's almost like you're just trying to pick a fight. Like you're just putting your
Yeah.
thoughts out there and just waiting for someone to come back and say, you're wrong. And then all of a sudden you got this Twitter war going on.
Twitter back and forth, and nothing ever really gets resolved. It's just back and forth.
Yeah. But, I mean, Gab, I like Gab. It's a baby company. They have a ways to go. It's definitely nothing like Twitter. It's similar, but I'm only supporting them because they're not Twitter, to be honest.
I'm on Gab.
I know. You
Yeah.
followed me and I followed
Yeah.
you. That was cool.
Yeah, I actually
I didn't know he was
got
gonna do that.
on Gab after I saw an interview with the guy that started Gab. He's a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and he he wanted to start a Christian-based company, and he deals with Christians, and so I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's very cool, especially nowadays when Christians are, the bad guys apparently are made to be the bad guys. Let's see. Gas prices are projected to surge 18%. Could skyrocket to $4 a gallon under Biden, which is anybody surprised? Another article on the Tatum report. Gas prices have surged 18% since election. Could skyrocket to $4 under Biden. Energy industry executives are sounding the alarm on President Joe Biden's disastrous policies and warning that they will force Americans to pay higher prices for gas and other utilities.
Well, that's what they want. That's what the left wants. They want gas
So they
prices.
can promote clean energy or whatever.
They want gas prices to skyrocket just so that they can drive oil companies out of business and have have solar powered cars and solar powered.
Tell that story about the electric car.
There was a funny thing that happened this week. They apparently were rolling out the new Chevy Volt. It's Chevrolet's electric car. It's all electric car, and they had like a news conference, and they had it plugged in charging, and one of the news reporters said, "Okay, so what's the source of that electricity that you're charging that Volt?" And the spokesperson goes, "Well, it's plugged into our building here." And the reporter goes, "I mean, where's the power coming from?" And she goes, "Oh, it's the power company. I think they're heavily natural gas. The source is natural gas." And it just so happened that there was a representative from the actual electric company there, and he said, "No, we're about 95% coal." So
boom.
Yeah, so there you go. The electric car,
but that's
powered by coal.
Yeah, that's just yet another example of how people are just not seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, and I think it'd be pretty cool to have an electric car at some point. I think that's a
I
great
think it would be
idea.
too.
But the thing about it is they're not really that green because
Yeah.
they're mostly powered by coal.
Yeah.
And the batteries, lithium batteries, it's an environmental disaster mining the lithium. So, electric car is cool, but it's not really green. And actually a gasoline powered car is probably more of a green car.
Remember when we test drove some of those? They're
hybrids,
so weird.
I think it's neat. I think it's a great idea.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool, and I wouldn't mind having something like that eventually. But they're just weird because when you come to a stop sign or whatever, it shuts off, or it's so quiet. It feels like it's completely stopped. It's kind of disconcerting. Looks like there was a Republican race, Congress race. Let's see, House race. Democrat finally concedes GOP picks up another House seat. Did you hear about that?
No.
This is another report on the Tatum report. Following a 3-month battle in the courts, New York Democrat Anthony Brindisi, who represented the state's 22nd district in Congress, has finally conceded to Republican Claudia Tenney. The race had been a rematch. In 2018, Brindisi narrowly defeated the then Representative Tenney. The 2020 congressional race between the two candidates was similarly narrow. However, it had its own unique share of twists and turns. So apparently, I mean, that's kind of amazing, actually, that the Republican actually won.
And that's the United States House, or is that the state?
It says another House seats. I don't know.
House, because it was pretty much a disaster for the Democrats. That the House, I think they lost 63 seats.
Well, no, it says Democrats presently hold 222 seats in the
So it would
House,
be, yeah.
according to Real Clear Politics, and
Yeah.
Tenney's victory hands Republicans their 213th seat in the House.
Yeah, awesome. So in other words,
I'm kind of surprised.
The 2020 election was a disaster for the Democrats as far as the House goes, because they lost 63 seats.
Yeah.
So
63. Wow.
yeah,
That's kind of a big
but
disaster.
yet the president,
I know, right? But
people must have really not liked President Trump.
Honestly, I kind of feel like that a lot of people did vote for Biden just because they didn't like Trump.
I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think some people were just sick of his clumsiness. He was just so clumsy,
Well, he wasn't perfect, but
he wasn't a very articulate speaker. I wish
he
he'd been
definitely
more
got some things
articulate.
done. He got some things done that we wanted to get done.
Well, what good was it though when Biden just came in and reversed everything?
That's a good point.
But I don't know.
I mean, you've got to think that some of that stuff's going to be challenged in the Supreme Court, maybe if they ever take a case.
Well, they supposedly are considering reviewing some of the cases coming up, but we'll see if they actually do it. And what good's it going to do anyway? They're going to review it and then puss out basically, and just say, we're not going to. I don't know.
I mean, you can't rely on them.
You can't, unfortunately.
Here's something I came across this week. Did you know that prisoners are actually getting the stimulus payments?
Why?
It's one of the stipulations of the stimulus payments. They actually get the payments too. So people in prison are going to get this $1,400 stimulus that's coming up in the next couple of weeks.
I don't even know what to say. And it kind of goes back to that domestic travel restrictions too. So he's thinking about restricting Americans from traveling from state to state, and yet he's okay with opening the borders and letting in a bunch of illegal aliens.
Yeah, no testing whatsoever on the illegal aliens coming over the border.
No, that's not true. I think they are going to test them. But if we've learned nothing else about COVID this past year, and I hear this all the time at the hospital, just because you're tested in that moment in time and you're negative doesn't mean that you don't actually have COVID, and it doesn't like your symptoms don't really start until 3 or 4 days after being tested.
Yeah, and that's another thing that came out this week.
Not a good indication.
That's another thing that came out this week was the fact that the CDC has been counting like 1,600% false positives, 1,600% overcounting the deaths, not the false positives, but the deaths. I didn't say that very good. The deaths from COVID have been overstated by 1,600%. Is what I meant to say.
Study finds CDC inflated COVID numbers by 1,600%. This is another article on WND. A peer-reviewed study contends the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention violated federal law by inflating coronavirus fatality numbers. The figures were inflated by at least 1,600%, according to the Public Health Initiative of the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge.
I mean, surprise, surprise. We've been talking about that for months, really. That first of all, the PCR test that they use has like 97% false positives, and everything is getting counted as a COVID death. Even like a car wreck death is getting counted as a COVID death.
In January, as WND reported, the World Health Organization admitted the gold standard PCR tests used to determine whether or not a person is infected with COVID-19 are not reliable on the first try, and a second test might be needed. Right. That fact, the National File notes, corresponds with the CDC's quiet admission that it blended viral and antibody test results for its case numbers, and that people can test positive on an antibody test if they have antibodies from a family of viruses that cause the common cold.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time that I've heard that Dr. Simone Gold, that video that I referenced the last video or last podcast, talked about how the COVID-19 is very similar to the common cold. Think about that for a minute. We've gone through this entire past year nightmare for basically the common cold.
I mean, it is deadly. It can be deadly for people over the age of 70.
Yeah, but so can a cold. So can pneumonia.
Yeah, right. Right. But it's 90 for that, even that age group, it's like 95% survivable. So, and we've got a vaccine though for that. Even though it's 99.99% survivable, you can get a vaccine to keep yourself from that 0.01%.
I'm going to correct you there. It's an experimental
vaccine. Yeah. Okay, we're getting up there on time.
All right. So now we're going to do something really fun, something he's going to super hate. I love it. So Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Are we going to do anything special?
Pretty much every day is Valentine's Day around here.
It should be, honestly. I mean, you should show your love to your loved one all the time, not just one day.
Right.
I have such a problem with Valentine's Day. I just think it's so stupid and another excuse to suck a bunch of money out of you. But I saw, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the love languages out there. Are you familiar with the love languages?
I've never heard of that before.
You've never heard of it?
No.
Oh, this is going to be fun. So basically it's I don't know if it's a theory. I'm not sure if that's the right word. By his last name is Chapman. He wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages, and it's like, I think my love language, if I were to guess, is acts of service. Like, to me, it proves that you love me when you do something without being asked. Like, you are so good about taking care of the house and, making sure my car is running well and that kind of thing. And that, to me, shows that you love me because you're making sure that,
Yeah, your actions show if you love somebody or not.
Yes, that's a better way of putting it. Correct. And there's gifts. There's touch. There's all kinds of other things. Anyway, so I'm gonna give you a quiz. I'm gonna try to figure out what your love language is.
Oh, brother.
Okay, you ready?
Do we have to do this?
Yes, we do. All right. Now this is you. Oops, this is you. It's more meaningful to me when I receive a loving note, text, email for no special reason from my loved one, or my partner and I hug. What's more meaningful for you?
The notes.
Okay. Next time.
What about you?
Well, no, we're doing this for you.
Oh.
We could do me next time. It's more meaningful to me when I can spend alone time with my partner, just the two of us, or my partner does something practical to help me out. What's more meaningful for you? I already know what you're going to say. You could spend more time alone with me, just the two of us, or my partner does something practical to help me out. Or I do something to help you out.
Probably the first one.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say. Okay, this one. My partner gives me a little gift as a token of our love, or I get to spend uninterrupted leisure time with my partner.
Second one.
Yeah. I can probably guess all these. My partner unexpectedly does something for me like filling my car or doing the laundry, or my partner and I touch.
The first one.
I would have thought you would have said the second one. Like a hug or something.
Yeah.
My partner puts his or her arm around me when we're in public, or my partner surprises me with a gift.
The first one.
Really?
Yeah.
I am surprised because
for sure.
you are not a PDA kind of guy.
What's PDA mean?
Public display of affection. I don't know if I would want you to because I'm not a PDA person either. Okay. I'm around my partner even if we're not really doing anything, or I hold hands with my partner. What's more meaningful for you?
Well, probably the first one. The first one.
Yeah, I mean, because you, like, I'll be in there in the room reading and you're watching TV, but the fact that we're in the same room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's more meaningful to you when my partner gives me a gift, or I hear "I love you" from my partner.
Second one.
Yeah. It's more meaningful to you if I sit close to my partner, or I am complimented by my loved one for no apparent reason.
What was that? What?
I sit close to my partner, like close proximity, physically sitting close, or I compliment you.
Probably the second one. How many more we got here?
It's a little bit. Okay. It's more meaningful if I get the chance to just hang out with my partner, or I unexpectedly get small gifts.
Online tests?
From my partner.
Okay. And what now?
Okay. It's more meaningful to you when you get the chance to just hang out with your partner, or you unexpectedly get small gifts from your partner.
The first one.
Yeah.
It seems like some of these questions are like the same question over and over.
Kind of, yeah. I hear my partner tell me I'm proud of you, or my partner helps me with a task. What's more meaningful to you? If I told you I was proud of you, or if
Probably the first one.
were like out there helping you shovel the driveway.
Probably the first one.
More meaningful to you if I get to do things with my partner or I hear supportive words from my partner?
Are these trick questions? The first one.
My partner does things for me instead of just talking about doing nice things, or I feel connected to my partner through a hug. They really are kind of asking the same
Like
questions
same
over and over again.
Okay, the first one.
Okay.
How many more we got here?
We're at 40% done. I hear
40%?
Shh, I hear praise from my partner, or my partner gives me something that shows he or she was really thinking
one.
about me. So you're not a gifts guy then.
No.
You don't really care for gifts.
No, I don't care about.
I'm able to just be around my partner, or I get a back rub or massage from my partner. What would be more meaningful to you? Just being around me, or actually
First
getting
one.
a back rub?
First one.
My partner reacts positively to something I've accomplished, or my partner does something for me that I know they don't particularly enjoy. Like, I vacuum for you, or my partner reacts positively to something you've accomplished. Like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Like, whatever you've done, like you've built another amp or whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, first one.
Okay. I feel like I'm coaching him. My partner and I kiss frequently, or I sense my partner is showing interest in the things I care about.
Second one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, 53%. My partner works on special projects with me that I have to complete, or my partner gives me an exciting gift.
First one.
I'm complimented by my partner or my appearance, or my partner takes the time to listen to me and really understand my feelings. Which would be more meaningful
First
to you?
one.
Really?
Because you'd never understand my feelings.
Ooh, I feel like I just got burned. Okay, the next one. My partner and I share non-sexual touch in public. My partner offers to run errands for me. Which is more meaningful to you? My partner and I share
Probably the second one.
like a hug or something in public.
Probably the second one.
Okay. We're 63%. We're almost there. My partner does a bit more than his or her normal share of the responsibilities we share, like around the house, work-related, etc. Or I get a gift that I know my partner put thought into choosing. So what would be more
First one.
meaningful for you? So if I got you a gift that I knew like you would just love. No? Okay. My partner doesn't check his or her phone while we're talking. I feel like that's a big one in today's society. My partner goes out of their way to do something that relieves pressure on me.
Second one.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And side note, he gets so annoyed when I yawn when I'm talking to him. He'll be like, am I boring you?
That is rude when
But that is kind of a nonverbal.
when people yawn when
Yeah.
you're talking to them.
I feel the same way when people are looking at their phone. I'm like, excuse me, can I
Yeah.
have your attention, please?
Yeah.
Okay, you said the second one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I can look forward to a holiday because of a gift I anticipate receiving, or I hear the words, I appreciate you from my partner.
Second one.
Really? Because I feel like you don't like surprises, so you know I'm
Yeah.
going to give it to you, so you don't.
Yeah,
You don't.
but-
Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
My partner brings me a little gift after she's been traveling without me. My partner takes care of something I'm responsible to do, but I feel too stressed to do at the time.
Second one.
Yeah. My partner doesn't interrupt me when I'm talking. The other one's gift giving is an important part of our relationship. What is up with this gift giving?
I don't know. The first one.
Okay. My partner helps me out when she knows I'm already tired. I get to go somewhere while spending time with my partner.
First one.
My partner helps me out when she knows I'm
Is there
tired.
going to be an answer to all these
Yes,
questions?
it's 80% done. I get to go somewhere while spending time with my partner? Really?
What?
See, I feel like you're not really listening.
Well, there was only one question.
Okay. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me just tell you that. Okay, so it's more meaningful to you when my partner helps me out when she knows I'm already tired, or I get to go somewhere while spending time with my partner.
The first one.
I really would have thought you said the second one, like on vacations and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. It's more meaningful to me when my partner and I are physically intimate, or my partner gives me a little gift that she picked up in the course of their normal day.
What's the deal with these gifts?
It's almost
First one.
it's almost like they want you to choose
First
the
one.
gift answer.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure you don't like gifts? Are
Is
you
this
sure?
some like a gift shop or quiz or something?
Oh
that
man, if
they're
it is, I'm going to be
they're
mad. It's like,
They're going to
oh,
send you some
yeah.
some emails of gifts you can buy or something.
Okay, 87% done. My partner says something encouraging to me, or I get to spend time in a shared activity or hobby with my partner.
These are almost like would you rather questions, you know?
I know.
The first one on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
You rather I say something encouraging than actually spend time with me and go do something?
Because I know that's not going to happen.
Oh, maybe I'm kind of regretting doing this now. Okay, 90% done. My partner surprises me with a small token of their appreciation. Again, another gift. My partner and I touch a lot during the normal course of the day.
Probably the second one.
Like, oh, good job.
Some of these
Good
questions
job,
are
honey.
sort of conflicting too.
Really? How so?
It seems like it's conflicting with the answers that were given on previous
Yeah.
questions.
My partner helps me out, especially if I know they're already busy. I hear my partner specifically tell me, I appreciate you. In other words, words
second
as
one.
opposed to actions.
Second one.
I'm really surprised by
Which
that.
kind of conflicts with an answer I gave on a previous question, but
Yeah.
let's just keep going here. 97%.
My partner and I embrace after we've been apart for a while. I hear my partner say how much I mean to him or her.
That's second one.
Okay. All right, here we go. This is your love language. It's thinking. Your primary love language is words of affirmation. Huh, that's interesting. I would have thought it would have
But
been
it's
like...
only 37%.
Oh, that's true. So you're 0% receiving gifts, which I figured.
Yeah.
10% is physical touch, 27%, so that's a close second. Well, actually, it's tied. 27% quality time and 27% acts of service. But your biggest percentage was words of affirmation. Interesting, huh? So that's funny that the physical touch and receiving gifts are like way, way down there. And as a man, I'm kind of surprised that your physical touch is so down there.
Yeah, well,
You're a sensitive soul.
Yeah.
You like affirmation. You like
Yeah.
words of affirmation.
I guess so.
So,
That was great. Can we do that again?
want to do it with me this time?
No. I mean, we don't have
Okay.
we only have so much time here.
Oh, hush. So,
we're going to run out of
oh,
videotape.
stop. Oh, stop it. I do say that a lot because I'm old school. So what do people say? Just filming?
Just say videoing it, I guess.
Videoing it? That sounds
video?
awkward. I think filming sounds more
Filming.
posh,
Yeah.
right?
But you don't really use film anymore or videotape. I don't know. What do you
Stop.
call it?
I don't know. So out of those 5, what would you guess I am? Gifts, physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, or acts of service?
Probably words of affirmation or quality time, for sure. Those are the two.
Ooh.
Those are the two for me, I would think.
I would disagree. I would
you
say
gifts?
acts of service. Oh, definitely
Acts
not
of
gifts.
service?
I could care less about that.
What actually does that mean?
Like
Doing
I-
something for you?
Yes, without
Oh,
being told. That
check
would
the oil in your car. Check
exactly.
the antifreeze.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Which, by the way, it's like 12
Oh,
degrees
yeah,
here
let's
today.
Talk about that for a second. Just kind of document it.
12 degrees, and it's supposed to be a high of 1 degree on Monday.
Isn't
with
that crazy?
4 to 8 inches of snow.
And negative something as the low.
Yeah, like not negative 10.
You think we're going to
But
get the snow?
No, that's what they always say.
Yeah, sometimes
And
they're right, though.
It is pretty challenging, apparently, in Missouri to predict snow because it's like the forecast is almost never right.
Well, I guess because we're kind of in that area of the country
like
where the weather just
it's
kind
like
of
triangulation of the south
with the
and
weather
the west.
literally changes like on the hour, basically.
Yeah.
So it is really hard to predict.
Yeah, one of the biggest snowstorms we ever had. There was absolutely no prediction of snow. Do you remember that back in the 80s?
Back in the 80s. Now I remember
It was
that.
like It was probably 1983
No, I remember the one
or 4 or something like the mid 80s. We got about 2 feet of snow, and there was no prediction of snow.
Are you
at all.
serious? I
Uh-huh.
don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
But I would have been probably like a sophomore, junior in high school at that
Yeah.
time. Probably wouldn't be paying attention. But
Yeah.
I remember living in this house. Remember how we got a lot of snow when we could barely get out of our driveway?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have a truck at that time?
Yeah,
I can't
actually,
remember.
I had an SUV that got stuck in the driveway because the
Yes.
4-wheel drive wouldn't kick on.
Yes, I remember that. But that's about the only time we've really gotten that much snow. And if it was predicted, I don't
Here,
know.
at least, at
Yeah.
this house.
But they're predicting what, 4 inches?
4 to 8 inches.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the
We'll
last
see.
time I checked.
But of course, we went to grocery shopping last night, and they're completely out of bread, eggs,
Milk.
Hey, there was toilet paper though, so we're making progress.
Hey, you got toilet paper.
So we'll see. So I'm a little concerned about it being so cold. But you may have to take me to work on Monday if we get that snow they're predicting.
Well, I checked all my fluid levels on my truck, so I'm ready to go if I have to. So.
Well, it's a good thing you did.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were almost out of antifreeze.
Yeah, it was low for sure.
Which is dangerous, but
yeah.
Anyway.
All right, is that it?
Can you tell by his body language he's done? You know, one of the things I really like about this podcast is I get to just kind of torture you a little bit.
Thanks. Now you know what my life's like.
Oh, I do feel like he's toasting me a little bit. Okay. Also, follow us on YouTube and Rumble. It's Right From Us. It's RIGHT from us on Rumble and YouTube. If you want to see the video version, the videotaped version of this podcast.
Videotape. Yeah, we got the VCR going here.
Right. And then I'm encouraging you to do that because you might see a little bits of a surprise behind us. So I encourage you to go check out the video version for a little bit of a surprise. It's something we're kind of trying for the first time. So bear with us. We're kind of newbies at this, but we'll get better. So, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
We got to get going. Our kids are coming over for dinner, and we'll have a little bit of family time with them and catch up.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to call it quits for this week. Everybody be safe out there, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
How's my hair look?
You might want to, let's dig it out now.
How's that?
Nope. That's better. Plus you got that on top, so you can't really tell. So. He gets me nervous. Cracks me up.
I'm not nervous. I just want
On air.
it to be right. Okay.
He wants it.
So do you know what you're going to say?
I'll figure it out. I'm going to also shake the table and drive him crazy.
Stop shaking the table.
I'm not meaning to. It's just
Get your hands off of it.
This is so much fun. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Okay, it's going.
Okay. Aren't you going to start
No,
it?
you're supposed to start.
No. You're starting with the quote.
No, you're going to start with the quote.
No.
You're going to stop.
No.
You're going to stop early, and I'm going to say you forgot something.
No. You need to start the quote.
No, you read the first part of the quote.
Kevin.